Alright, welcome everyone. Big boy today, the Rhino from M.A.S.K. Lost a sticker there, I just noticed. This was probably the biggest of the first wave of vehicles, out of all the vehicles. Came with an ejector seat. So if your boss ever got on your nerves, you could just kick him out the door basically. This one is Matt Trakker. He's the leader of the M.A.S.K organization. I've got a couple of him in different vehicles, but he came, like I say, with this one and in the Camaro that flies. And the main driver was Bruce Sato. Good M.A.S.K. He used the his M.A.S.K was basically the Force. He could lift things with it. And Matt Trakker, this version of his M.A.S.K was like a flashing, blinding light, temporarily blind your enemies so they couldn't do evil. I actually do have the updated version of Bruce Sato. As you see, that the bigger the shoulder area and the hole at the top, so kids won't choke on it. I gotta admit, I think this mask looks better. Just you can still see some detail in his the actual figure, rather than all mask. So I'm gonna set that back over aside and stick with my. These are the ones that actually came with the Rhino. Let's see. It also, in addition to the ejector seat, it has a battering ram grill. The smokestacks come down to form cannons for defense. A detachable little go-kart situation there. Put one of your little dudes in there to scout and go off on missions. Then the sleeper cab opens up to prominently display the name of the super secret spy organization you're hiding from the world. And a ramp to access has a, make sure it doesn't hit my camera. Yeah, okay, it wasn't going to go that high. It shoots its little missile thing out. There's a computer in there. Obviously, you got to have that for the 80s TV show, mobile computer station. And I think that's all the actual gimmicks on this one. And it's a little dingy, so I've got my handy dandy shop towels and my water. Trying to do a little sprucing up here. I'll say there. I say this one was pretty much prominently displayed in I think just about every episode. This was the big toy they were really trying to sell. Oh, that's dirty on the inside. Can't get my fingers to work that way. And it worked. Obviously, I had to have it. I'm pretty sure this one had to be a birthday present because it might have been $20 or $30. I ain't no telling how much a ridiculous price I was willing to pay for this. But I don't think this is one that I could have afforded by saving up my pennies, because I could not, at that point in my life, I could not save my pennies. Trying to think what else. Okay, I think it got. I'll go and tell you, it got lots of playtime because this was one of those that was just really cool. It was sort of borderline between vehicle and playset, because it was big enough to, have action occur in. Oh, I lost the stickers on this side too. Did not realize I'd done that. They just may not have been put on good, and I just decided to take them off instead of having. And that was always a risk of having an armed spring-loaded missile in your cab, I guess. Close back up. And trying to think. There's it's like all the other ones. I remember things being so much more. I find it hard to believe. Oh yeah, and this is supposed to be a satellite radar dish thing, I think. was what they said that was anyway. The airfoil. It seems like as I'm getting this stuff out and playing around with it and seeing, I can't believe this stuff held my attention when I was a kid. I mean, it just seems so simple and so, but it did. And I mean, for hours and hours, I could play with these things. These guys that don't have faces. Oh, they've got face-shaped blobs. Get him to. I mean, they didn't do any real detail on him, other than they gave him hair and the vague outline of a face. But you always played with them with the mask on, so it didn't matter if they had a face. This was the big boy of that show / commercial / series. And and I have fond memories of it. It's going to get a prominent display point on my shelves once I go to the trouble of actually building the shelves. And much like the jackhammer, they do have the official. They paid for the licensing to have. Come on, focus in on there. I don't have enough hands to. Oh, it's got the Goodyear tires. You may never focus. There they are. And I think it's supposed to be based on my research. It's based on a Kenworth truck, which the Kenworth and the Peterbilts looked very similar back then. So they could have said either one. I would believe it. But I think that's even though it's the biggest of those toys, that's about all I can really say about it. I loved it. It was great. I played with it a lot, and I'm glad I still have it. I was pleasantly surprised to see it sitting at the bottom of the container with all the other toys stacked on top of it. But anyways, thanks for watching, everyone. If you're digging what I'm doing, make sure and subscribe, because like I say, it's going to keep going, and we got Star Wars coming up next week, and there should be some good stuff in that one. Bye.